ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च। We are in the Dvitiya Adhyaya, Tritiya Valli, the last Valli, where the Upanishad summarizes how this Pratyekatma can be known. Pratyekatma is Pratyakshadi Indriya Agocharam. It is not available for Pratyakshadi Indriya. न संदर्शे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य इंद्रिय जन्य ज्ञान योग्यतां नास्ति आत्मनः. Indriyas have got limitation. Indriyas are meant for knowing Indriya Vishaya. Indriyas are naturally directed towards Indriya Vishaya. That is how they are created. Paranchikani vedranat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman. We saw the second adhyaya, Pratamavalli. Paranchikani, Indriyas, they are extrovert. They are created like that by Ishvara. or knowing Indriya Vishaya. Atma is not Indriya Vishaya. It is not Indriya Gochara. Atma is Ashabdamasparshamarupamavyayam Tatharasam Nityamakhantavachayat Anadyanantam Magatah Param Drubham Nichayatan Nrityamukhat Pramuchyate. We have seen in the same Upanishad, it is Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam. It is not Shabda Vishaya. Therefore, you cannot hear. Atma is not subject to knowing by hearing. It means hearing is Indriya, Shrotra Indriya, Ashabdam, Asparsham. It is not available for Tvagindriya, Arupam. The same idea here. Na sandrishe tishtati rupamasyam. It is arupam. Atma doesn't have rupa. It doesn't have rupa. How Chakshurindriya can know Atma? Therefore, Chakshusha na pashyati. Chakshusha drashtum na yogyaha Atma. It is not available for the perception of eyes. Can Atma be known by the mind? Atma is also not available for the mind, even though mind is greater than Indriya, but still mind also, Atma also cannot be known through the mind. That is why the comparison was given before in the same section. The comparison was given, and comparison was given previously also. The comparison between the Indriya, Atma, the mind, Buddhi, the Buddhi at the individual as well as at the samashti level. It was given in the Pratama Adhyaya, Tritiya Valli, 10th and 11th mantra. We saw that also before. Indriyebhya param manaha. Manaha, mind is subtle than the Indriya. Manasaha satmuttaham. Compared to mind, Buddhi is subtle. Compared to Vyashti Buddhi, Samashti Buddhi is greater. And compared to Hiranyagarbha, that is Samashti Buddhi, Avyakta, Avyakrata, that Samashti Karna Sharira Abhimani, Maya is greater than which is Paraha, ultimate, which is Vyapaka, which is Alinga, this Purushaha eva. This Purusha, this Atma alone, it is Paraha. Avyaktat Paraha. There is nothing para to Purusha, Pratyekatma. But we saw, if you remember in the previous chapter, the second chapter, Manasa eva idam aptavyam nega nanasti kinchana. Manasa eva idam aptavyam iti, the vakyam was there. Manasa eva idam aptavyam. By the mind alone, idam pratyekatmanam aptavyam, nyatavyam. Katam. Manasa. Manasa is Tritiya Vibhakti. Manasa eva. What does it mean, Manasa? If it is Manas, if it can be known through mind, then it becomes one more object. Like the thought. Thought is an object. Thought is Jada. Vritti is Jada. So Atma Vritti also becomes a Jada. Manasa eva idam aptavyam, Upanishad says. If it is knowable through the mind, then Atma also becomes one more object, like the vritti, which appears in the mind. And Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yatho vacho nivartante. Without being able to objectify, Manas and Vach, they return back. They return back. So here what is Manasa? Manasa is the Manas which is by the Upadesha of the Shastra and the Acharya, which has gained the Pakvata, Jnana Yogyata, by that mind only can be known. So it is, Manasa is that Vichara Yukta Manasa, Atma Vichara, Shastra Vichara, Guru Upadesha Yukta Vicharena Manasa. So by Vichara, that is but Manasa, that mind which is sufficiently matured, which has gained the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, which is fit for, which has become fit for knowing Pratyagatma by gaining sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, which is through karma yoga and upasana, etc. By that mind, when it is exposed to the Shastra Pramanam, then it can know. Therefore, manasa eva idam aptavyam. Therefore, there is no contradiction. Therefore, indriyas cannot know, mind cannot know, then individual buddhi also has got limitation. So, why? Because this is paraha. And previously we saw indriyanam pratak bhavam. Indriyas are, they are distinct. They are distinct from Atma because they rise and they fall. Udayas tamayau chayat. So, indriyas, they rise and fall. Indriyas have got limitation. Therefore, here in the mantra, ninth mantra which we saw, taking the Chakshur Indriya as an Upalakshana, the Upanishad again presented. Since Atma is not a subject matter for Indriya Vishaya, Chakshur Indriya Vishaya, it can be known, it cannot be known through the Chakshush. Why? Because Atmanaha Rupam Sandrishe Natishtati. Indriya Jnana, Indriya Janya Jnana Yogyatam na prapnoti na tishtati. Therefore, Chakshusha na pashyati na janati. Chakshuhu is only upalakshana. By that we can bring all the indriya. Then by how it can be known? Hrida manisha manasa vikliptaha yayenam yayetat viduhu amritaste bhavanti. Hrida is referring to the buddhi, by the buddhi. Buddhya eva jnatum shakyate. Buddhya is the buddhi, astikya buddhi, that shraddha, the buddhi which has got shraddha, which has gained the pakvata, which has gained the yogyata, not by the prakruta buddhi, it is by the samskruta buddhi. It can be known. It can be understood as it is myself. Buddhya, it is known, it means it is not buddhi gochara in the literal sense. By the buddhi, it can be known as that which is responsible even for the functioning of the buddhi. So that which is even the adhara for the buddhi, that which makes the buddhi operate. It is not buddhi gochara when we say, it is not that it can be known through the buddhi. Manasana veditavyam. Similarly, buddhya apina, not possible to know through buddhi also. It is sarva vedanta siddhanta gocharam. As in Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya says, it is gocharam, it is gochara vishaya of sarva vedanta siddhanta gocharam akocharam, this atmanam. Because there is a mistake, there is an error Error because of avidya. For the removal of avidya, buddhi is required. Buddhi means vichara. Vichara yukta buddhi. So, hruda manisha manasa vikliptaha. यः एतत् विदुः अमृताः भवन्ति इति वीसा. So, एतद् referring to Brahma. Brahma Atmanam ye viduhu te amritaha bhavanti. So, hruda is that hristaya buddhya. Bhashakara said hristaya, hristaya, hrude tishtati, hristaya, what buddhi? Buddhya, hruda manisha, manisha manasaha संकल्प विकल्पादि रूपस्य इष्टे नियंत्रत्वेन इति मनीट तया हृदा मनीषा विकल्पहित्र्या मनसा मनन रूपेण सम्यक् दर्शनेन अभिकृप्तः अभिसमर्पितः अभिप्रकाशितः भवति. तो आत्मा ज्ञातुं शक्यते इति we have seen in the last class. Now, the next mantra, the Upanishad, going to tell this, the buddhi, how Atma can be attained with such a buddhi, a mind which is completely focused, how it can be attained. That is going to be presented in the next mantra, which we will read. We will read the 9th mantra and then Sangati, and then we will read the 10th mantra. Na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya.
न सन्दृश्ये तिष्ठति रूपमस्य
Na chakshusha pashyati kaschanainam.
न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनम्
Manisha manasa vikliptaha.
हृदा मनीषा मनसा विक्लिप्तः
Yayetat viduramutaste bhavanti.
ययेतत् विदुरामृतास्ते भवन्ति.
A commentator, another commentator says, Hrida is Hristaya, Hridi Ekagrata Apannaya Buddhya. That Ekagrata Buddhi. The Buddhi which has gained Ekagrata. The focus. Ekagrata is opposite of Anekagrata. Not scattered, focused. Buddhya Atma Jnatum Shakyate. Shakyaha. So, buddhya. And manasa is shravana mananatmaka vicharaha. Vicharaha kartavyaha. So, therefore, this refers to the mind of then adhikarinaha. So, those adhikaris, sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha, who have got this buddhi, the buddhi which has got ekagrata and which is inclined to the vichara and which has dominance over the manas, the mind, because manas has got the sankalpa vikalpadi, it has got oscillation. Therefore, sankalpadi rupasya vashikartya buddhya manasa vikliptaha vicharena atma jnatum shakyate iti. So, ye vidhu ye jananti te atmavidaha mrutaha bhavanti. Mukta rupaha bhavanti iti. Now, the mind is talked about. The mind which is talked about, how that mind how the Atma can be attained with such a mind. For that, the Upanishad says, Bhashakara says, connects the next mantra with the Vakyam. We will read that Vakyam. Sa hrin manit
Sa hrinmanit
katham prapyate iti
katham prapyate iti
tadartha yogaha uchyate.
tadartha yogaha uchyate.
So, tadartha yogaha uchyate. What type of buddhi? What type of buddhi? With what type of buddhi Atma can be known? How to attain that buddhi? How to attain the buddhi? The buddhi has got location. Its upalabdhi sthanam is hridi, hridayam, heart. How mastery over the mind? How mastery over the mind, and the mind, how Atma can be known? It is going to be presented. So, hrit is means heart. Hridayam, hrit means heart. Here it refers to buddhi. It is not the physical art, the upalabdhisthanam of the buddhi. How you take the meaning of hrit to be buddhi? We do the Jagal Lakshana. We have seen in some other context, Jagal Lakshana, Ajagal Lakshana, Jagal Lakshana we saw. Jagal Lakshana means Gangayam Goshaha. It's a standard stock example. Gangayam Goshaha. There is Gangayam Gosha, there is just standard stock example. There is, suppose if you say there is a hut on, there is a hut, a kutia on Ganga. Ganga means the river. There is a kutia, there is a hut on the river. On the river, how can hut be there? River, Ganga meaning river, the water is flowing. How can the hut, the kutia, be located on the river? It means what we do is we give up the meaning of the word Ganga and we take the meaning Ganga Tire. Ganga Tire Kutia Grigam Asti. Goshaha Asti. The stock example, Goshaha. Gangayam Goshaha. On the bank of the Ganga. So, what we do is we give up the meaning, literal meaning of the word Ganga, and we bring in the meaning Tire, Ganga Tire, on the bank of the Ganga. This is called Jagal Lakshana Vritti. This is called Jagal Lakshana. So, this is Lakshyartha. We give up the meaning of the literal meaning and take the Lakshyartha, what it means. So, Vachyartha we give up and take the Lakshyartha. That is called Jagal Lakshana. Similarly, here also, Hrit meaning heart. Literally, you cannot take heart. You have to understand, heart means it is buddhi. Don't take the Vachyartha, take the Lakshyartha. The Upalabdhi sthanam of buddhi is Hridayam. Therefore, Hrit means buddhi. This is Jagal Lakshana Vritti. So here we are using Jagal Lakshana. Where Vachyartha is given up and Lakshyartha is taken up. Vachyartha is Hrit, Lakshyartha is buddhi. Therefore, Hridha Manisha means buddhya. So Hrit is buddhi. That is how we take the meaning of the word Hrit, meaning Hrit to be buddhi. So therefore here we take Jahal Lakshana. There is another Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana, where what we do is we retain the Vachyartha and we add something. Suppose we say Shvetaha Dhavati. Shvetaha Dhavati. Shveta means white. White runs. How can the color white run? Whiteness, that color is an attribute of an object. How can attribute exist apart from, separate from the object? An attribute cannot do any kriya. It cannot run. Shvetaha Dhavati. When we say Dhavati means runs. So Shvetaha, white runs. What does it white? White means Shvetaha Ashvaha Dhavati. White horse runs. Yeah, white horse runs. So here Shvetaha meaning white, that Vachyartha is retained and we supply Ashvaha, that is called Ajagal Lakshana. So where Vachyartha is given up and Lakshyartha is taken, that is Jagal Lakshana. Where Vachyartha is retained and something more is added to make out a sensible meaning, statement, meaning, that is Ajagal Lakshana. That is Jagal Ajagal Lakshana. Jagat Ajagal Lakshana. That is what we do in the Mahavakya. Soyam Devadattaha. If you take the stock example again, Soyam Devadattaha, where there is both Jagal Lakshana as well as Ajagal Lakshana. Therefore, Jagal Ajagal, Jagat Ajagal Lakshana iti. Three types of this analysis of the sentence we do. So here, Hrit is Buddhi. By Jagal Lakshana, we can take the meaning of the word Hrit, meaning Buddhi. The Buddhi which has got mastery over the mind, that is required for knowing Atma. How that Buddhi is attained? That is the question. For that, here, Yogaha Uchyate. Yoga is, meditation is told. For that purpose, meditation is told. Hrin Manit. Hrin Manit. The Buddhi, the focused Buddhi which has got Ekagrata, that Hrin Manit Buddhi. How it is attained? For that, Yoga. Yogaha Uchyate. The means for gaining that Buddhi is Yogaha. What is that yoga? This yoga is called, in this yoga meaning in the Yoga Shastra, in the Patanjali Yoga Shastra, yoga meaning dhyanam, the samadhi, those are the limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. That Ashtanga Yoga is there. That Dhyanam is one, Samadhi is there. So Dhyanam, Samadhi, all these are the limbs, the anga of the yoga. So in the Yoga Shastra, in this context, in Vedanta, here the yoga means Nididhyasana. Yoga means Nididhyasana. Now we have to discuss on this before we move further. This Ashtanga Yoga, that is the Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga, is a means for gaining sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, jnana yogyata prapti. For that, it's a tool. By samadhi, which is the last limb of the Ashtanga Yoga, by samadhi, moksha is not possible. Samadhi is not a separate state. There is a general misconception. The samadhi, getting to samadhi, the person, Nirvikalpa samadhi, the person becomes muktaha. So samadhi becomes a a necessity for gaining moksha. If samadhi is required, then samadhi is to be attained, then then the Shastra did not talk about the vichara, did not talk about Atma Vichara. Why do we study Shastram if Samadhi is the means for gaining the moksha? Samadhi as though a requisite, as though a necessity. Without moksha is not possible. There are some wrong views, wrong understanding. Because in many places the word samadhi is used, yoga is used, therefore a misconception has creeped in. So what is samadhi? We need to understand. Samadhi means absorption of the mind. Chittasya samadhanam samadhihi. Chitta samadhanam. Chitta, the mind, and the focus of the mind, chitta ekagrata, the mind which is free from wandering, which is free from any preoccupation, it is required for gaining jnana. For gaining that buddhi, to ultimately to gain jnanam, what the Shastram does is it prescribes sadhana. Two types of sadhana it prescribes. All the sadhanas are only for preparing the mind. For moksha, what is a sadhanam? Jnanam is a sadhanam. Shastram is the pramanam. So jnanam is the only sadhanam. Jnanat eva kaivalya. So for jnanam, for that jnanam, the jnanam, the knowledge for which the buddhi is required. Therefore, buddhi has to be prepared for that jnana. For that, Shastram prescribes sadhana. What sadhana? One is Ishvara Upasana. Upasana sadhanam. Saguna Ishvara Upasana. Other one is Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga Abhyasa. Yoga Abhyasa, Ashtanga Yoga Abhyasa, or Ishvara Upasana. Upasanaya Chitta Ekagryam. Karma Yogena Chitta Shuddhihi. Upasanaya Chitta Ekagrata. So Upasana is one sadhana for gaining that Ekagrata, Chitta Ekagrata. And there is another sadhana which is Yoga Abhyasa, Ashtanga Yoga Abhyasa. Now, the person has listened to the Shastram. The person has listened to the Shastram. Having listened to Shastram, because a person is lacking in certain sampatti, therefore he doesn't enjoy the jnana palam. Doesn't enjoy the jnana palam. Because he doesn't enjoy the jnana palam doesn't mean that Shravanam is not the means. Jnanam is possible, is gainable only through Shravanam. In fact, Shravanam alone is enough for a prepared mind. Puja Swamiji used to say, this Mananam and Nididhyasanam also not required for a Yogya Purusha. Exposure to the Shastra itself will give him Jnanam, Moksha, Kevala Shravanam. Now, for the person who is not completely prepared, for it requires Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. That is what we call Jnana Yoga. Why this Shravanam, this Mananam and Nididhyasanam required? Because the person would not have done the Upasana or the Yoga Abhyasa, The chitta ekagrata is not there. Therefore, only after listening to Shastram, one has to do Mananam. So Shravanam gives knowledge. Shastram being a Shabdam, Shabda Pramanam, listening to the words of Shastram gives Jnanam. After that, Mananam is required. Why Mananam is required? Because there may be certain doubts lingering in the mind, of the student. So, therefore, Mananam is required. There may be some questions. There may be some questions or unresolved doubts. There may be vagueness. The vision is not completely understood or assimilated in spite of the repeated study of the Shastram and also the effort on the part of the teacher. The vision has not come. So, to understand the vision, Aham Brahma Asmi, Mananam is required. If Aham Brahma Asmi, then how can be a Dukhi? How can be a Sarvajna? So, all these doubts can come in the mind of the person. So, those doubts can be resolved only by Mananam. Shastram says, Aham Sarvajnaha, Aham Sarvavyapi. But I don't feel like that. Shastram says Aham Sada Muktaha, but I don't feel like that. So all these doubts, they come and not resolved. Therefore, Mananam is required. Therefore, after Shravana, Manana is required. With regard to the Shastram, with regard to the Pramana, with regard to the subject matter which the Shastram unfolds, there may be doubts, which we call Pramana Samshaya, Prameya Samshaya. Pramana Samshaya means the doubt with regard to the vision of the Pramana. There may be doubt with regard to the Pramanam, the very Shastram itself. That is resolved by Shravana. Shravanam resolves the doubt, the Samshaya with regard to Shastra Pramana. Then with regard to the Prameya Vishaya, what the Shastram reveals, still there may be doubts. That is removed by Manana. So, after having done Shravanam and Mananam, Shravanam implies the removal, Shravanam replaces Shraddha. Therefore, there is no Pramana Samshaya. Mananam implies that Prameya Samshaya also is removed. Mananam is required for the removal of Prameya Samshaya. Shravanam is required for the removal of Pramana Samshaya. Pramanam reveals the vision, and whether the vision which is unfolded by the Shastram is it true or not, that is resolved by Shravanam. And what the Shastram reveals, Prameya Vishaya, that is resolved by Mananam. So, after Shravanam and Mananam, still that Jnana Phalam is not there. Why? Because there could be Viparita Bhavana, Viparyaya, that's what we call Viparyaya or Viparita Bhavana. Viparita Bhavana. Viparita Bhavana is that Viparita, it's because of it's called the error, habitual error. Viparita Bhavana, Viparyaya. The mind which has been trained or which has conducted itself in certain way. So therefore, there is a habitual error. It is subject to committing habitual error. Therefore, for removing the habitual error, an example for habitual error, suppose you have kept your cupboard in a place in your room. In your room, you have kept your cupboard in a place for many years. One day you change the cupboard, the location of the cupboard from one place to another place. Next day, when you enter the room, you look for the cupboard in the original place. You yourself have changed the location of the cupboard from one place to another place. But because of the habit, you look for the thing, you look for the cupboard in the original place. That is called this habitual error. So that is removed by the sadhanam called nididhyasanam. So nididhyasanam is not meant for gaining jnanam. Nididhyasanam is for removal of viparita bhavana. In spite of listening to the Shastram, a person may say, I have not gained knowledge. By meditation, I will gain knowledge. If a person says, it means the person has not understood what Shastram is as a pramanam, what Shastram is has not understood. Knowledge comes only from the pramanam. Pramana is Shastram. Shastram, which is operated by the Acharya, is the only means for gaining jnanam. That is why I said Shravanam is the pramanam. Nididhyasana is not a pramanam. Mananam is for the removal of the doubts with regard to the pramanam. So Nididhyasanam is not a must for gaining jnanam. Because there is viparita bhavana, therefore Nididhyasanam is required. Nididhyasanam is only meant for removing the viparita bhavana, the conclusion which is opposed to the vision of Shastram. That conclusion is because of the habit. So that is therefore for the removal of that only Nididhyasanam is required. Shastram says Aham Purnaha. But I have been thinking all my life Aham Apurnaha, Aham Karta, Aham Bhokta, but Shastram says Aham Akarta, Abhokta. So this opposite conclusion, that is called Viparita Bhavana. These are there in the form of samskaras since a long time in the mind. They create distraction from the vision of the Shastra. Therefore, for the removal of the distraction from the vision of the Shastram, Nididhyasanam is required. And when you deal with the world, the distraction is all the more. Even though you have studied Shastram, you have the vision of the Shastram, because of your previous strong conclusion, when you interact with the world, all the limitations unknowingly they walk in. That is because of the habit. So therefore, the opposite conclusion, the Viparita Bhavana, they are opposite to the vision of Vedanta, that is still lingering in the mind of a sadhaka. Therefore, only Nididhyasanam is required. So, Nididhyasanam required, which will give more clarity, which will remove all this distraction and give clarity and give Jnana Nishtha. Therefore, for Jnana Nishtha, Nididhyasanam is required. For this, a sadhaka who is not sufficiently prepared, but Jnanam itself is gained through Shravanam. It is the Pramanam. Shravanam is the Pramanam, not Nididhyasanam. Now, this Nididhyasanam, what we call it as this yoga, Nididhyasanam, it can be in the form of Brahma Abhyasa or Samadhi Abhyasa. Brahma Abhyasa or Samadhi Abhyasa. Nididhyasa, the word Samadhi, the Samadhi means it is the state of Nididhyasa, that is called Samadhi. In Vedanta, is what Nididhyasana or what samadhi means, repeatedly listening to the words of the Shastram, repeated listening, so that the vision of the Shastram becomes more and more spontaneous. That is called samadhi. So, because of the lack of upasana, by upasana, the chitta ekagrata, the sadhaka would have gained, but in the modern days, we don't do that Ishvara, Saguna Upasana, or the Ashtanga, that Yoga Abhyasa. And therefore, since that preparedness is not there, therefore Nididhyasana is required. See, in the Upasana, what is there is the Veda Jnanam is there. Veda Jnanam is, in the Upasana, there is a meditator and meditated. There is a Veda. In the Nididhyasana, there is no Veda. Nididhyasanam is also a Upasanam, also a Jnanam, where the Jnanam is between the meditator and the meditated, where Nididhyasanam is Abheda Jnanam. I am the meditator, I am not different from the meditated. So, the difference between the Upasana and Nididhyasana. In Upasana, what one does is Veda Dhyanam. In Nididhyasanam, what one does is Abheda Jnanam. The Veda Jnanam is removed by Abheda Jnanam. The Abheda Jnanam, the Jnanam which has been gained through Shravana Mananam, and that in that Jnanam, dwelling on that Jnanam, repeated listening and dwelling on the words of the Shastram to remove all the Viparita, the wrong conclusions, which are there in the mind. That is called Nididhyasanam. So, Nididhyasanam, this Dhyasana, it is there, it is, Dhyanam is there, Dhyanam, Upasana is also Dhyanam, Nididhyasana is also Dhyanam, but it is not the same type, it is of different type. In the Upasana, it is Dvaitam. In Nididhyasana is Advaita Jnanam. So, this Nididhyasana is what we call Vedantic meditation. This is what we call Vedantic meditation, Nididhyasanam. This Vedantic meditation only can be done in two ways: Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana or Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. Brahma Abhyasa or Samadhi Abhyasa. This Nididhyasanam, which is required for the removal of Viparita Bhavana, it can be done through two ways: Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana or Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. Here, when we say Samadhi Rupa Nididhyasana, it is not Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We will talk about that. The first means is Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. That is what we said. Listening. Listen, even though you have listened to Shastram, again listening and thinking, dwelling on that, and teaching also Nididhyasana. Teaching also is Nididhyasana, dwelling on the teaching. Tat Katanam, Tat Chintanam, Anyonyam, Tat Prabodhanam. Tat Katanam is telling. Tat Katanam, Tat Shravanam, Tat Chintanam, what you have heard, you have to think about that. Anyonyam Tat Prabodhanam, teaching. Etadeka Paratvam cha Brahmabhyasam Vidur Buddhaha. This is called Brahmabhyasa. Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. This is Brahmabhyasa. Brahma Abhyasa. Abhyasa means practice. Practice of Brahma. How Brahma is practiced? That practice is nothing but listening to the Shastram. Tat Katanam, Tat Shravanam, Tat Pratibodhanam. That is Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. We just simply translate Nididhyasanam as repeatedly and exclusively entertaining the teaching of Vedanta in the mind, so that the vision becomes spontaneous. You will never be carried away by the Vishaya of the samsara. That is called Samadhi. That is called Samadhi. In samadhi, there is no movement. There is complete absorption in the vision. Complete absorption in the vision, which is gained through repeated dwelling on the teaching of the Shastra. That is called Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Vidyasanam. So, other one is Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. Why Nididhyasanam is required from the beginning? I'm just summarizing from the beginning. Why Nididhyasanam is required? Shravanam alone is enough. Why Nididhyasanam is required? Because there is Viparita Bhavana, therefore Nididhyasanam is required. Habitual error is there, therefore Nididhyasanam is required. Because there is doubt with regard to the Prameya Vishya, therefore Mananam is required. Shravanam alone is enough for gaining the vision of the Shastra, for gaining Jnanam. Why Mananam? For the removal of doubt, and Nididhyasanam for the removal of this Viparita Bhavana. And this Nididhyasanam is to be done by the sadhaka who have not done the upasana or not prepared the mind by Ashtanga Yoga, as given in the Yoga Shastra. Therefore, only Nididhyasanam. And most of us have to do Nididhyasanam since we don't do any upasana, Saguna upasana, or we don't practice Ashtanga, that yoga abhyasa. And there is maybe confusion with regard to the upasana, Nididhyasana, that also clarified. Upasana involves Veda Jnanam, Nididhyasana involves Abeda Jnanam. Therefore, they are not same. Then this Nididhyasanam, how it can be practiced, how it can be done? It can be done through two ways. One is Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. Other one is Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. So Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam we saw. Now Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. Now here only the word Samadhi occurs. What is Samadhi? Samyak Adhiyate Samadhi. Samadhi, there is Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa. Savikalpa Samadhi is that in which there is an awareness of division. Vikalpa is there. Vikalpa is there. The meditator and the object of meditation. Vikalpa means division. So meditator, meditated object, there is a difference. That difference is maintained in the state of absorption, samadhi, therefore savikalpa samadhi. Nirvikalpa samadhi is that where there is no division. There is no division between the meditator and the meditated. What is there is only meditation. Even the awareness of meditation is not there. That is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now, when we say Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam, here Samadhi, what we mean is Jnana Samadhi. Samadhi doesn't mean here in our Samadhi, our Vedanta, what here Samadhi means, it is Jnana Samadhi. Samadhi, what generally people think, it is absence of thoughts. The Samadhi, which is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they say Anda Samadhi, there is absence of thoughts. When all thoughts are resolved, the person will become enlightened, illumined. Such wrong ideas are there. That is not a Samadhi we are talking about. That is, if thoughts are not there, you will go to Samadhi, then there is no division, no vikalpa, nirvikalpa. So therefore, the person becomes enlightened, becomes muktaha. We don't say the absence of thoughts will give you moksha. What Samadhi, what we talk about is Jnana Samadhi. It is Jnana Samadhi, that is why Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. So, There, this samadhi, what we mean is absorbing in the teaching, absorbing in the teaching of the Shastra. The word samadhi, the samadhi is absorption. There is no vikshepa, there is no distraction. Vikshepa rahityam. See, the purpose of sadhana, all this sadhana, is not to nullify thoughts, is not to avoid thoughts. Thoughts, that vritti will be there. Vritti will be there. But the vritti, what vritti we have, that viparita bhavana, the opposite, the conclusions, the wrong conclusion, which keep me away from the vision of the Shastram, that vritti is to be knocked off. That vikshepa to be knocked off. Vikshepa rahityam. For that only this sadhana is required. So in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they say it is thoughtless state of meditation. That is not that. That is not we say. So our Samadhi is Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. When we say that in that absorption, we appreciate the oneness. We appreciate the oneness of Brahma. Aham Brahma Sakshi. It is there in every thought. It is not suppressing the thought. It is not nullifying the thoughts. It is absorption of the buddhi in Atma, which is characterized by the withdrawal of sense organs, the mind and intellect and sense objects. So absorption of the mind in the absorption of the mind of the buddhi in Atma and Brahma. That is what we call Nididhyasanam. That is what we call Nididhyasanam. So therefore, this Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam, it is not, that is, in fact, that is not required for, it is not required for many of us. Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam is sufficient. Only those who have not got the full impact of the teaching of the Shastram, for them only Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam is required. Whereas for one who has done sufficient Shravanam and Mananam, even Nididhyasanam itself is not required. So therefore, Nididhyasanam is not a must. The Nididhyasanam in the form of either Brahma Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam or Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam, both are not required if the person has undergone sufficient Shravanam and Mananam. So therefore, here in this mantra, the following mantra, that Nididhyasanam is being talked about here. So Bhashyakara in the introductory Bhashyam, this mantra, Nididhyasanam, is not meant for Jnanam, it is for Chitta Ekagrata. It is Chitta Ekagrata. So, Chitta Ekagrata, for the purpose of Chitta Ekagrata only, Nididhyasanam is required. This Nididhyasanam, we can call it as Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where the meditator and the object of meditation have become one, and there is complete clarity, complete the oneness. Not that it doesn't, that Samadhi doesn't, there is no thoughtless meditation. Here, there is complete understanding, the complete vision of the Shastram. There is no distraction on the part of the person. The mind and the sense organs, they remain without distraction. It's completely absorbed in this vision of the Shastra. That is what is called Samadhi. So that Nididhyasanam here Bhashyakara says that is not required for Jnanam, it is a sadhana. It is a means for some people who have not done sufficient Shravanam and Mananam. We will read the mantra. Yada panchavatiष्ठन्ते
यदा पञ्चावतिष्ठन्ते
ज्ञानानि मनसा सह
ज्ञानानि मनसा सह
बुद्धिश्च न विचेष्टति
बुद्धिश्च न विचेष्टति
तामाहुः परमां गतिम्
तामाहुः परमां गतिम्.
So yada panchavatiष्ठन्ते, yada ismin kale, Vashakara says ismin kale, at which time pancha referring to pancha jnanani avatiष्ठन्ते. Pancha jnanani, jnanam referring to the organs of knowledge, five sense organs. Yada pancha jnanani avatiष्ठन्ते, they abide, they stay. Yada pancha jnanani avatiष्ठन्ते manasa saha, along with the mind. Kutra atmani. Pancha jnanani manasa saha yada avatiष्ठन्ते buddhi na vicheshtati. Buddhi also, there is no shaking, there is no agitation. Buddhi doesn't wave, there is no wavering of the buddhi. So where these sense organs along with the mind and the buddhi, they are all avatiष्ठन्ते, they remain intact. Tam paramam gatim agughu. By whom? We have to supply. By the rishayaha, by the rishis. It is that state where there is complete absorption of the mind and the buddhi, and there is no agitation, no movement of the sense organs towards the sense vishaya. That state is considered to be paramam gatim, highest state. So the highest state doesn't mean the person has to sit cross-legged, absorbed in nirvikalpa samadhi. The person can very well interact in the world, but at the same time is absorbed in this jnana. That is called the paramam gatim, that is the highest state. So because here the paramam gatim, the highest state, that is called highest state, they say the rishis, where there is no movement of jnanani, the five, there is no functioning, not functioning, there is no interaction, transaction. The mind, the indriyas are withdrawn from its function, from action. It means it's not that it means the indriyas are not overpowered by indriya vishaya. The mind, because the mind and buddhi, everything is mastered. So indriyas are withdrawn from the indriya vishaya. So the person remains in this vision of the shastram. That gati, that state is called highest gati. You read the bhashyam. Yada yasmin kale
यदा यस्मिन् काले
स्वविषयेभ्यः निर्विततानि
स्वविषयेभ्यः निर्विततानि
आत्मनि एव
आत्मन्येव
पञ्चज्ञानानि
पञ्चज्ञानानि
ज्ञानार्थत्वात् श्रोत्रादीनि इन्द्रियाणि
श्रोत्रादीनि इन्द्रियाणि
ज्ञानात् मुच्यन्ते अवतिष्ठन्ते
ज्ञानात् मुच्यन्ते अवतिष्ठन्ते
सह मनसा
सह मनसा
यत् अनुगतानि
यत् अनुगतानि
तेन संकल्पादि व्यावृत्तेन
तेन संकल्पादि व्यावृत्तेन
अंतःकरणेन
अंतःकरणेन
बुद्धिश्च
बुद्धिश्च
व्यवसाय लक्षणा
तद्व्यवसायलक्षणा
न व्याप्रियते
न
न विचेष्टते
न विचेष्टते
न विचेष्टते
न व्याप्रियते न विचेष्टते न व्याप्रियते ओके स्वव्यापारेषु न विचेष्टते
स्वव्यापारेषु न विचेष्टते
न व्याप्रियते
न
न व्याप्रियते
कामागुः परमां गतिम्
तामाहुः परमां गतिम्
यदा यस्मिन् काले at which time pancha jnanani the five organs of knowledge, that is five indriyas, pancha jnana, why it is called jnanam? Because they bring in knowledge, indriyas bring in knowledge about shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, therefore they are called jnanam, jnanani, indriyani ityartha. Jnanani is indriyani, they are meant for gaining jnanam, therefore they are called jnanani. So pancha jnanani means pancha indriyani manasa saha, along with the mind, backed up by the mind, the sense organs flows towards the sense vishaya. Now, avatishthante means they remain, they are withdrawn, and remain in Atma. Bhashikara says, yada yasmin kale pancha svavishayebhyah svavishayebhyah avatishthante, atmani eva avatishthante, svavishayebhyah स्वविषयेभ्यः निवर्तितानि withdrawn. Svavishayebhyah nivartitani, withdrawn from its vishaya, and atmani eva avatishthante. Svavishayebhyah nirvritani atmani eva panchajnanani avatishthante. Jnana panchajnanani is shrotradini indriyani, shrotra, tok, chakshu, etc. Those indriyas, such or sense organs, which are meant for jnanam, jnanartatvat, because they are meant for jnanam, jnayate iti jnanam, therefore they are called jnanani. Pancha indriyani are called jnanani, they are meant for jnanam, therefore they are called jnanani. Svavishayebhyah nivartitani atmani eva avatishthante, that pancha jnanani yat anugatani tena sankalpadi vyavritena antakharanena. Buddhischa. So, yet anugatani, the sense organs, along with the mind, are withdrawn. Tena sankalpadi vyavritena antakharanena, along with the mind, sankalpa, mind which is scattered by sankalpa, vikalpadi, vyavritena. So, sankalpa, tena sankalpadi vyavritena. So the mind, which does the sankalpa, vikalpa, which is indecisive. The mind is indecisive, thinking of pros and cons. Now, vyavrata, it is withdrawn from that, withdrawn from its operation. So then buddhischa, adyavasaya lakshana buddhi. Buddhi is adyavasaya. It is for firm conclusion. It is for determining decision making. The decision making faculty is called buddhi, adyavasaya, ascertaining, determining. That buddhi, adyavasaya, lakshana buddhi. It is strilinga. Therefore, lakshana buddhi, the buddhi, adyavasaya, lakshana buddhi, na vicheshtati, doesn't function, doesn't engage, where swavyapareshu, in its own action. The buddhi, which is meant for the deciding function, svavyapareshu na vicheshtate, doesn't engage in swavyapara, in action. Na vyapriyate, doesn't function, doesn't operate, because it is, mind is absorbed in Atma. The mind, the sense organs and the buddhi, all are completely absorbed in Atma. That means They entertain only the vritti about Atma, thoughts about Atma. So, Atma is the Adhisthana, it is the Adhara, if everything, including the mind and the buddhi. Therefore, the mind and the buddhi, which they abide in Atma, entertaining the thought of Atma, dwell in the chintanam, the thinking of Atma. So, the mind entertaining the thoughts of Atma, Agam, Akarta, Abhokta, and Swarupa, Asangaha, iti, the buddhi stays in its Swarupa. So that is called Atma Abhyasam. As in Gita, it is Atma Abhyasam Manakritva. So therefore, that's only Atma Akara Vritti. That is called Paramam Gatim. That is said to be the highest state. So entertaining only the thoughts of Atma alone, having withdrawn all the sense organs, along with the mind and the buddhi and the mind are withdrawn from doing its normal function, and indriyas also, then what it will do? Then it remain in the state of the thinking of Atma iti, that agam vritti alone will be there. Agam vritti, that agam is Atma. Atma is adhisthana of everything. When everything is withdrawn, then where they will abide? They will abide in Atma. That state, it is called Tam Gatim, Paramam Gatim, it is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Therefore, Samadhi means it is complete absorption of the mind along with the sense organs in the Swarupa of Atma, in Atma Swarupam. Therefore, Rishis, they tell that such a state of absorption, Paramam Gatim, it is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is what we call this is what we call the state which is gainable or gained through Nididhyasanam. Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. This is complete absorption. It's called Samadhi, where there is complete withdrawal of the functioning of the Antakranam along with the Indriya. This state is considered to be the highest state. It is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, achievable through Nididhyasanam. Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. Samadhi means absorption, complete absorption. Absorption of the mind in its Swarupa of oneself. So that is considered to be the highest state. Paramam Gatim. Iti Agagu. Kena, that is not supplied. Kaihi, not supplied. We have to supply by the Rishayaha, by the Rishis. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyawad.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
I have a
ಗುರುಜಿ.
doubt.
Huh?
I have a doubt.